All right.
Woo.
So, start on that side of the table. What do you think of the game?
I like the mechanics. It's like the whole like combining like kind of worker placement, but then you also like want to match the card color just so you can like two action, because you want to be as efficient, as maximize your action as possible. I don't think I've seen any game that's like that. So.
Yeah, I do like the matching of actions along with the cards that you play.
Yeah.
Like matching that up. You don't have to. You can take any action that's available, but it does incentivize you strongly to go after symbiotic relationships between your actions chosen as well as the card play. What do you think?
I don't know. I wonder if I did that every turn, but then somebody, I forget who it was like, you don't have to do that. I mean, it was Asher. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe doing that kind of undercuts you, because some of the things I'm like, well, no, I obviously can't do a yellow because I don't have a yellow card. But maybe I actually should have, because, for example, I kept drawing a lot of red and green cards, and had I realized that in-game needed to be upgraded, I could have spent some of my science to go ahead and upgrade 3 of them, then would have gotten another 12 points. But I was so focused on do red and green. Maybe that's actually something you shouldn't pay attention to so heavily.
Yeah. Focus more on the actions and
what you need
cards.
to do, and not so much on the cards. Or, use that space to go ahead and draw cards, which again feels like a wasted action because you're not doubling up, but it just may be way more important. So, yeah.
So on the flip side, things I'm not super keen on, this game way overstays its welcome. It is way too long for what it is.
It is a long game.
And I don't know that it warrants the investment of time. Only a handful of plays in thus far. However, I'll be honest, it's cool to be able to pull off good moves here and there, but
it takes a lot to be able to do that, and it's fun once in a while.
But for the most part, I don't know that the game is fun for me. I don't know that I enjoy the actual playing of the game. I don't dislike it. The game itself is good.
Yeah.
Mechanically, it's solid, right?
Yep.
But I don't know that. I think if it were half to maybe 2/3.
Even that second production for me, I was invested until that point. After that, I honestly didn't want to put in the brain work anymore. I just was like, whatever, I'll take whatever's out, and meh. Like, it just, that second production, I was done.
And it's not like we don't enjoy heavy games.
No, enjoy heavy games. It just didn't feel like it was paying off, because a lot of times I would really plan ahead. Then it's taken anyway. I mean, there's only one way to get those end-game scoring cards and the special cards. So, really for the most part. Otherwise, you're really kind of, it just didn't, and it just kept getting blocked enough that it was like, all right, well. And
it begs the question, should we try and get those in-game scoring cards earlier?
Really early. Yeah, it does.
No,
it does. I was like, I should have
get that.
But then you don't know, right? You're waiting because you're like, well, am I going to end up getting a bunch of those cards? Am I going to end up getting this? What am I going to go for?
So you're gambling, essentially.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you? Well, I'm curious, because when we played it last weekend, you said, wow, I liked it a lot less than I did on my first play, right?
Yeah.
Where do you fall on it now?
I think it's like now it's like I'm better than at the end of last play.
All right.
Because I think like the day itself also have an impact after a long day of playing games and then play this on top of it. Again, it's like I love the mechanic is like I hope there's more game that using the same mechanic, but I definitely think this game's run like maybe 2 rounds too long.
That's what it feels like.
Does.
If this were 8 rounds instead of 10, but now I'm going to give credit to the designers, publishers, developers, all that. I'm sure they played around with that. But I feel like this game just and it's not because we're on the stream. It's not because we're still relatively new to the game. It's just you get so many options, and you don't know early game. It's hard to really drive towards a direction without knowing how things are going to play out.
So that's where, so we talked about these, and I feel like the only thing I was really focusing
Talking about
on,
the end game scoring cards,
the end game
right?
scoring cards, and I feel like the only thing I was really focused on after that last production was getting that. And I feel like if these were maybe drafted or randomized in the beginning and just not out there as a card you had to go get at the end of the game, and then, like I did, just get shut out of even getting one, I mean, that's, I feel like, so if if that was somehow drafted and done differently and then it ended right before that 8th round, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Because I definitely got help with, I know after the second production round, I was like, I'm just going to get one of the end game scoring card that, I know, I'm pretty good at and I can keep working on.
But that's experience too, right? So now you have a big differential between experienced players and non-experienced players. And I think I'm at where you were Sunday because that was your second play. And so my second play, I'm like, oh, I'll mess around, I'll try these things. And then that didn't work out. So.
And there's interaction, no doubt, between it's all negative interaction.
It's negative though, yeah.
Which normally I don't mind. I'm okay with that.
No, yeah.
But here it felt punitive, but accidentally punitive.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I never went to a spot to screw either one of you. But when I did, it was because, I needed to go there. Oh, yeah, you really needed to go there too. That's worker placement to some degree, but there's not, I wonder if it's a little too limiting as far as with the special cards, there's one spot.
Yeah, there could be one more.
And yes, there are the cards that allow you to piggyback potentially. But
usually it has to be open though. So I had that card.
It either has to be open or you can't go there, or maybe you don't draw it.
Yep.
Exactly.
I don't know
it may not come out.
Yeah.
Which they may have found hey, add this in, but if you don't get it, now you're stuck.
Yeah, then you're out.
And yeah, Mark brings up a good point that a game has to be really good to justify this kind of length. And obviously, here's the thing. Normally I say that a stream will add about an hour to the game. But honestly, none of us were ever interacting with y'all in a way that was slowing down the game. We were doing it when it wasn't our turn. And even then, I either had already made my decision or I was like, I don't feel like the stream added to it. And so now we're looking at 4 hours. And no, if this were half as long, sure, but no.
And also to kind of mitigate, I think, not being able to draw the cards you need, they added in at the beginning of after each production and the new phase coming out, you get those 3 cards. But that itself felt overwhelming because now you have so many cards in your hand and you have to draw down. And so while that helped you see more cards, you don't get to keep them because you're still down to 3. So
right, unless you happen to draw the one card that you did, which kept a 4th. And Luke says, I feel like the game feels long as a polite synonym for boring. I don't know. For me, it's a lack of engagement with the game.
Yeah.
What I noticed is off stream, on stream, doesn't matter for me in that regards. That when we played this on Sunday, halfway through the game, I was checking my phone. I was not laser focused on the game. Okay.
Yeah.
Today I was, as much as I can be, on screen or on stream, and I don't feel like I benefited from that at all, and I don't feel like I got rewarded for that extra focus on the game. It's not enjoyable for me. I just really, let's put it this way. We review this on the show. I have no interest in ever playing this game again. At 4 players, I'd rather be back in aviation working there than I would playing this 4 players. The downtime is prohibitive. Again, on the flip side, I saw that somebody said, GZA says, I guess it depends on how fast you play. Play the first game in 2.5 hours, which seems fine for the game. Sure. Yeah. I agree.
I mean, you could definitely go faster. And GZA said this game is not for the AP Prom. But I'm not sure. You still have to pay attention and plan ahead and have a plan B or C or D because people can go in your spaces. So just playing quickly and saying, okay, I'm just going to do whatever, that's not going to work out very well either. I mean, I don't know.
And Smackle Funky brings up a really good point that the game doesn't ramp up at the end. You're doing the exact same thing for the entire length of the game. There's no arc, right? There's no, I mean, sure, you got an engine building so your production is bigger, but all it is you're doing the exact same thing over and over, right?
Yep.
So I'm curious, do you guys want to play this more? Ultimately, that's what it comes down to.
Right.
I think it's like I would play it, but I would not suggest it. And then it's like, and definitely never 4. Even 3, it's like, I would, if it's 3, like, if the other 2 player has played it before, then like, sure.
Right.
And then it's like a range. But if I have to teach 2 new players, then there's like, that's a lot of time commitment that you have to put into the game. And if just one person is AV prone, then it's just like...
Right, and it just, it's... So
we're not experienced in the game, too.
Right, either or, which
feels unfair.
Helps adding to the AP because you're not
trying to figure out which
like you don't know which card is better or not, so... And that's like... It's like... It is a Tableau engine building, but I never feel like my engine is like getting better. Like I'm not like, oh, I can build 6 desalination plant now. I'm still like, oh, I'm still just only building 2.
Right, but all it does is maybe you can trigger more things. So people compare this to terraforming Mars, and I read earlier that a lot of people were saying that this is like a better version of terraforming Mars. I don't know that I would say that. I see the comparison because you're building card tableau of, you're drawing cards, et cetera, et cetera. But the difference with that is the productions happen at the end of every round, and so you're able to like chain more stuff, I feel like. And you can do more, bigger,
and it
better
ramps up
things.
at the end because there's more things available.
Right. So I get the comparisons between this and that, but I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a better game. And Asher says the card levels get better too. The cards get better. Yes, but
a little bit.
I mean, not so much, Asher. So I kept thinking, oh, well, this is a level 2 card. So clearly I'm going to want to replace the level 1 cards with these that we just draw. And that wasn't always the case. So they weren't always better in the ways I needed them to be better. Even when we got to level 3. So would I play this again? Can we play Shipyard?
Yes. Sorry, Vladimir. I would disagree. I think the Shipyard is a far superior game. That said, Andy brings up a good point here, too. Says, I loaned the game to someone who loves terraforming Mars, and his issue was there were too many options, led to a lot of AP, even though he doesn't usually suffer from it.
There is a lot of options.
And I felt the same thing. I just feel like it's an overwhelming, at times, choices. And then it's hard to plan too far because what you guys do, there's
really
interaction in that my plan just might be sunk. I might not just not be able to.
And that's the thing is some of it I'm planned and then I'm like, oh, they're not going to go here. And then they do. So now it's my turn and I was all planned out, but I got to start over the second it's my turn.
And now
I get that that's worker placement. That's going to happen. But there's so many options and the cards and it really does just, it kind of leads to AP. I was trying to just pick fast and eventually I was like, I'll just do a thing. I don't even, because I wanted the stream to go fast. So in the interest of the stream, I was just like, well, whatever.
Like I'm more lean onto like, I just pick the card. Like when I towards the end, it's like, these are the cards I want to play. Like, it doesn't really matter what spots I go to at that point. Like I kind of more like, I lean onto the option where like, it doesn't really matter what board action I pick, as long as I can pick the card.
Well, again, remember, and I did that, and then I could have upgraded through those things that would have been way better for me. So that some of doing that can be detrimental, which I think Asher was saying as well. So
the design works. I mean, there's nothing, there's no flaws with that. I think it's a solid, mechanically sound game. And there are definitely going to be people out there that thoroughly enjoy this. And I mean, let's face it. I mean, one other really nice thing is, I mean, look, I built all this, right? And we all built these things, et cetera, but it just didn't ramp up. There wasn't that payoff I felt that you would get in most engine builders. It just,
if anything, like the last round before going to the production rounds, I have like 2 steel. What am I going to do with that? And it's like, I guess I can get more resources before I go into production to get more resources. That seems like a waste of turn.
Yeah, I get that. And Meeple Overboard asked, do the cards you draw feel like too much luck for the length of game?
It can be, yeah. Like,
for example, I think this was literally the only endgame scoring card I pulled. So, and Edward has 3 out in his tableau. And that's all I got. And I got it towards the end, so I needed to ramp that up really fast if I was going to take advantage of it.
And counterpoint, you could have got those earlier, but again,
You'd have to know what you were going to do.
Right. So, and that's okay.
And what you were going to be able to do, because you can say, well, I'm going to go heavy in this. But if you start, if your counterparts start taking those spots, then you can't. So that doesn't really work out.
Yeah. So overall, definitely a big miss, which I'm disappointed. I was super excited about this. No, let me rephrase that. I was looking forward to the game. I wasn't super excited about it. I had high hopes.
Yes.
I mean, to his defense, what else is he going to say? But when when we saw Vladimir at Essen, he was like, oh, this is better than Shipyard. And I'm like, oh. Yay. But then you brought up a good point. What's he going to do? No, the game you already know
is better than this.
Okay, fair enough. And the game is good. There's nothing wrong with the game.
The mechanics.
I just, and I like what you had talked about. The fact that the card play, the symbiotic nature of where you go and how one can drive the other.
I mean, maybe that's where it will be similar to Terraforming Mars, maybe with an expansion that kind of shortens gameplay or does something else with in-game scoring.
Yeah, because in Terraforming Mars, if people are so busy building their tableaus and don't terraform Mars, the game way overstays its welcome as well. So I get that, but I feel like...
And then there's Prelude, which speeds it up, so maybe there will be something like that.
Yeah.
So, ultimately, yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I want to like it more.
I want to like it more. I agree. It's just it's too long for what it is.
Yes.
I have
but
no interest.
But then again, I don't like Terraforming Mars that much, so I could see there's people who will enjoy this.
I enjoyed Terraforming Mars more than I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot more before I kind of got sick of it after a while. I think I played it a lot, and I enjoyed Terraforming Mars. And maybe because I've played Terraforming Mars at that point to where maybe I'm less enamored with this type of game. I think that's fair. So if you haven't played Terraforming Mars, I could see this being of interest to folks.
Yeah, so there's that influence as well. And Craft Dragon said he doesn't like Blood Rage. That's almost similar to what you just said. I loved Blood Rage so much, and then I played it so much.
Yeah.
That now I have strategies for the cards and what I'm going to do and how to counteract any strategy that an opponent takes. It's just not as fun anymore. So.
Brian asks, what do you feel led to the huge point differential? Luck of the draw? I would have gotten 4 more points if I would have finished that last tunnel. And if I had 1 more action, so if there's some way I could have, then I could have maybe gotten an extra, say even 9 points. So let's call it 13 more. That puts me at 395. So I lost by 20. I think I think you played the best game and you were rewarded for it.
But and he has more experience with the game. For me, I kept trying to get the end game scoring points and got shut out 2 rounds. And so if I had gotten one of those, I wouldn't have been able... I tried to mitigate points as best I could. So I ended up salvaging 3 points. But if I'd gotten one of those cards, I would have gotten, say, for example, 13 for the money. Or if I had gotten one of the city ones, I would have gotten 10. So I could have gotten those points. If I'd understood that these needed to be upgraded, I could have foregone an action that needed a card and upgraded 3 of those, and that would have given me 12 points. So I just should have gone for those things earlier. And got blocked out of them at the end. So.
And Asher says he thinks it's cons knowing when to take the end game scoring cards and building his cities to maximize. He and I were going for the same card.
But he got an end game scoring card in the last round. So
An extra one, but
The
the
extra
one,
one.
the main one that you were
This
going
one.
for,
But I was looking at it the entire game.
and so was I.
So I was planning for it, and I know it's like after the second production round, I was like, I'm just gonna take it because I have money to play it.
Yeah.
I'll just play it now, just so it's like I'm not limited.
I had the exact same idea, and you took it literally the
Yeah,
turn I
okay.
was going to, and you went first, so
Yeah,
turn
so
order
turn
does
order
matter.
And
Turn
then
order,
also like
and same turn order for me too.
definitely like before the first production round, I got this island.
Yeah,
and
that
just
was
played
amazing.
this. That was 9 points.
I was
Like,
gonna
that's
go for that
extra
too,
9, yeah.
and you got
Yeah,
So I
so-
mean, it's just get to things first.
Yeah, get your things first. That's like
But literally, if someone's getting it from you, that turn order does really matter.
Turn
'Cause
order does
literally, for me twice, he got things right before me. For you, at least once
Yep.
as well. So, yeah.
Ultimately, though, it's fine for what it is. For those that will enjoy this, I just think ultimately it's too long for what it is for me.
All right.
You?
Same.
yeah, like maybe it's like if the end game condition card is like end game scoring card is not like you can only get it from this spot.
Yeah, but
Then
is what it is. So that said, okay, that's that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget like, subscribe. Hit the little bell at the bottom if you want to get notified when we go live. You want to go one step further, really would appreciate it. 746 patrons. You can go to pledgehc.com, support the show there. Yeah, that's it. We may be back before Christmas. If not, we're going to take a little time, spend time with family, enjoy it. Hopefully you guys do as well.
Yeah, enjoy the
And we'll
holiday.
be back at some point next week. So bear with us on that. Go play games, enjoy
Yeah.
time with your friends and family.
Yes.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that to everybody. And to all the patrons out there, thank you. Seriously, thank you. And everybody that hangs out and watches
In the
these.
peanut gallery, yeah.
in the
Yeah.
peanut gallery. Thank you very much. This makes it a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable
Yeah.
because you guys are here. So thank you. And thanks to y'all for doing this. All right? And you for enduring games that you might not necessarily enjoy.
No, it's
so-
fine. This was good.
Cool. So
Yeah.
I'm Edward.
I'm Jess.
Colin.
All right. We will see you guys, sometime later on next week. Take care, everybody.
Bye.